99.9% of you watching this right now are losing gains. Why? Because you don't know the secret hacks for programming, for workout programming that have been shown in data, clear data that will throw your gains into overdrive. Here's the good news. They're easy to implement. We're going to teach you how. We're going to talk about it today. Let's get into it.
Is this inspired by Justin's interview with Kyle?
No, I didn't listen to that. Oh, was that good?
Of course you did. I just want to point out that I'm probably the best friend of all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like I support all of you guys' stuff always.
Well, I hugged Justin.
I watched it, and it was actually there's a portion of it where Kyle is asking Justin some really good programming, and I thought Justin did a really good job.
Oh, he's the best at that.
Well, not just that, but actually articulating the challenges of creating that, right? And it's not just simply built around, biomechanically, this is the most optimal thing to put right here. There's so many other things to consider. And, Kyle shared being able to be a part of watching us build one was really enlightening for him to see the things that we take into consideration. Yeah. And also, Justin articulated that well, where, it's difficult for us to explain that even in a podcast of like when people ask, we get asked that question all the time.
We really get into it because of all the nuance. Yeah. There's a lot in there that we have to kind of break down. And it's one of those, it takes a long conversation to really unpack it all.
It does. And here's the challenge. First off, here's why, by the way, what we're about to cover is shown in data to be incredibly effective. But here's why you probably don't know about what we're going to talk about. There's a couple reasons. One, most of the general programming that we understand when it comes to fitness around strength training comes from bodybuilders, which is good. There's nothing wrong necessarily from the programming that bodybuilders have figured out over decades and decades and decades to maximize muscle growth. But what's happened is we've lost the programming skills and science that have come from other strength sports. And I'll argue, and some of them have even more science and data to support them, like Olympic lifting. Olympic lifting, international competitions. At one point, the Soviets had invested millions of dollars in the science behind Olympic lifting. And we can learn a lot from that. Doesn't mean you have to Olympic lift, but you can learn a lot from what they've learned through the years, and we don't implement this. So that's number one. Number two, there's basic programming that is the most important. That's the solid foundation. If you don't get that, then all the other cool stuff doesn't make that big of a difference. In fact, focus on the bases or the basics, I should say, first. So so this is probably going to benefit. What I'm about to say is going to benefit the fitness fanatics the most. Those of you that are already consistent, those of you that do the basics, that get it, that are consistent. This is going to benefit you the most. So I'll start with the first one, which is training frequency or exercise practice frequency. I'll put it differently. Is better for strength. So when you look at the data on building muscle, building strength, if you see a training frequency where they equate for volume, meaning same total volume for the week, but we'll compare 5 times training that exercise or that body part versus 2 times. So same total volume, the 5 times a week group did shorter workouts, just did them more frequently versus the other group that did 2 workouts that were longer, but total same volume. Muscle growth doesn't make that big of a difference. Once you hit 2 to 3 times frequency, you really don't get that much difference in muscle growth. But you almost always see a benefit in strength.
Yeah.
You almost always, and now here's what's crazy about this, and here's where it gets wild. This is even true for ultra frequency. What am I saying here? Well, let's say today you're supposed to do 5 sets of squats, and you want to take advantage of ultra frequency to maximize your strength. Doing 1 set 5 separate times today would probably give you more strength. So instead of doing 5 sets in one workout, you do 1 set, 1 hour, wait an hour, do another set, wait an hour. So you did 5 sets spread out over the course of 5 or 8 hours. Probably, the data shows this, will translate to more strength than doing them all at once. So you can get really crazy and have a lot of fun with frequency to maximize strength. And a lot of this has to do with central nervous system adaptation, practicing the exercise. Yep. There's no fatigue. But this is a rad one that I have experimented with. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, play with this. If you're a fitness fanatic and you got the time, it's crazy the gains that you see doing this.
And why this is important to the person who says, I really don't care how much I lift. I just care about how I look, because I can identify with being that kid that said that. your ability to lift more weight will then naturally increase your volume, which will then naturally increase your muscle. So you will build more muscle. Even though, like in the short term of heads up, 25 sets spread out versus 25 sets in 1 or 2 workouts doesn't show
in 16 weeks, right? That's what the studies look like.
Right.
If you spread them out over a year or 2, I 100% agree with you.
Yes, you spread that out over a year of getting really good at that and getting really strong at that thing, more muscle will come.
That's right.
So that's why I think this is such an important, great tip, like you said, even for the advanced person. And it trumps what I think is most popular in the bodybuilding community, which is intensity.
Yes.
Intensity is oversold. We were told that intensity is so important for growth and gains. And the truth is most people don't apply that appropriately. And so not only is it not better, but it's significantly worse because it's also applied incorrectly.
Right. Yeah.
So intensity does have value. Yeah, intensity does have value. There are plenty of studies to support increasing the intensity or training to failure and the benefits that you can get from that. The problem is that's in a perfect environment, in a perfect study where somebody is applying it correctly, where the average person who just hears, oh, go to failure or doing, increase intensity, push harder, do more, and they over apply it. And so they get negative effects from it. If they would have just practiced it at a lower intensity, they would have seen way better results.
It's the same as a skill development. And it's just, it's strange that, I don't know, I guess it's taken this long to really, point that out with training for me, even like as I was training clients back in the day, not realizing, that it really emulates the same thing you do to build skills for sports, to build, very specific, just like you practice, you're not trying to practice so hard that you're super fatigued and worthless at that point. Like you have to go through the movement and your body's able to respond and memorize that movement so much more effectively when fatigue isn't really part of that equation.
I will give an example. I'll give a nice, easy, clean example of how you could apply this if you're like, ooh, I want to test this out. Here would be an example. Let's say today you're working out chest, shoulders, and triceps. And let's just say for argument's sake, to make this easy, you're doing 6 sets for chest, 6 sets for shoulders, 6 sets for triceps. So 6, 6, 6, okay? Here's what you would do if you want to take advantage of this.
The beast.
No, not like that. I should have chosen a different number. Yeah. What you would do is you would do 2 sets for chest, 2 sets for shoulders, 2 sets for triceps at 9 a.m. Then at noon, you would do 2 sets for chest, 2 sets for shoulders, 2 sets for triceps. Then at 4 p.m., you would do 2 sets, 2 sets, 2 sets. Same total volume, you've just increased the frequency. So in other words, for the whole day, you're doing the same as you would normally do, except you've divided the workout out and you've done more frequency. Here's what you'll notice. You'll get stronger faster, you'll feel less sore, you'll get better gains. That's how you can take advantage of frequency and ultra frequency when it comes to maximizing your gains. And by the way, yes, muscle fatigue, waist buildup correlates to growth to an extent, but the strongest correlate to muscle growth is strength. Yep. It's always been that way, 100%.
Well, and that's a great example for somebody who has the luxury to potentially do this from home or something, or they have all day access to a gym. But this still applies even through the week. So let's say for the week, you typically train chest and you do a total volume of, say, 20 sets in 2 workouts. Spread that out over 5 workouts in a week.
You'll get better gains.
And you'll get better gains that way, which is why anybody that's familiar with the trend that was popular years ago on the squat every day.
Yeah, and people were getting crazy gains.
People got strong. Yeah, people got so strong and saw all these gains. And so then everyone was asking, like, should I squat every day? And it's like, okay, well, there's a bit of a nuance. But the point is, so many people had never tried frequently squatting that often. And what do you know? You have these huge benefits from it. So, you could apply that in a day or you can apply that in a week.
Now, here's the next one, and this one's going to blow people's minds. Today's program giveaway is the super bundle of programs. If you want to win that, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. Do all those things. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale. MAPS 15 is 50% off. Now, this isn't some random quick workout routine. It's a fully structured program that solves the #1 fitness problem, staying consistent. With MAPS 15, you'll get short 15-minute daily workouts that you can stick to. They build muscle, they burn body fat. It's just 15 minutes a day, and you can do them at home with minimal equipment, or If you want to use barbells and dumbbells, there's a version in that for those as well. Head over to mindpumpmedia.com/maps-15-minutes and use the code MUSCLE50 at checkout for the 50% off. Back to the show. I just read a study on this. They did a study on CrossFit athletes. I think it was 104 athletes. Now, if you're familiar with CrossFit programming, the goal with CrossFit programming is to make you
good at CrossFit.
Have everything. Well, what they would say is, right, you want to be strong, you want to have stamina, you want to have endurance. And a typical CrossFit workout tends to combine them all in one workout. So you'll typically do your strength training, then you'll do your stamina style training or your conditioning. Sometimes you combine it all at once. That's what a competition looks like. So it kind of makes sense. Why wouldn't I do it all in a workout if I go compete in CrossFit and I'm doing it all in a competition? Here's what the study did. They separated strength from endurance like this. 1 week is only strength. They didn't even do strength and endurance in the same week. They did strength 1 week, the next week, endurance. The next week, strength, the next week, endurance. And they did this over 8 weeks, and they compared them to other athletes who did it traditionally, which was strength, at first and the little endurance at last, or kind of throughout the week. Here's what they found. Twice as good a performance.
Shut up.
I know, I read this.
Two times the improvements.
How new is that? Is that new?
Recent.
It's relatively recent. And what they're going to do is they're doing another study to see if they get just as good a gains. Because for some athletes,
I feel so validated.
Yes. Because for some athletes,
I mean, this is how, okay, if you've been listening for 9 or 10 years
this
with
is
us,
what we say.
Yeah.
We came out early on and had a lot of things to say. We said a lot of positive things that CrossFit had done, but we said a lot of negative things in particular about the way they program the attributes and adaptations that you're seeking by doing that, and that there is a better way. Max Performance was our answer to that. Was if you like the things that you people do in CrossFit and you like all those attributes and you want that adaptation, let us show you a better way to go get all those results, and that was Max Performance.
That's right. So, and now what they're going to do is they're doing another study, because for some athletes this doesn't work with their programming, their schedule. How do they peak for whatever? So now they're going to do a strength day, an endurance day, a strength day, and endurance day in the week,
alternate day during the week.
But I will make this. I will bet, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I'll bet that the previous study where you had 1 week only focused on strength, yes,
still better.
Of
course,
I
it would
guarantee it.
That's right. That's right.
It flows perfectly from what you just said right before, which is because of the practice and the frequency of that, you're going to reap more benefits.
So if you're somebody that works out like a fanatic and you like all the physical attributes of fitness, you like strength, you like endurance and stamina, you like it all. Your workouts probably look like a combination. You probably lift weights at first, then you get on a machine or you do your HIIT cardio afterwards or whatever. Try this instead. Just focus on strength for a week. Just focus on endurance for a week. And you don't lose gains doing this. You actually get better gains by separating it all out, which is pretty
What a great study.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. I was not familiar with that.
Next up, this is totally missed by people who like to work out for aesthetics. But you see this practiced by athletes, and you see this practiced by some strength athletes as well, in particular arm wrestlers. Arm wrestlers are great at this. That is daily low-intensity lifting for gains. So what does this look like? Now, we have something called trigger sessions at MAPS Anabolic, which is an example of this. But here's what it would look like for, let's say, an arm wrestler. Arm wrestler does their traditional strength training workouts. They go to the gym, they do the workout. It's intense. It's what you would expect. Arm wrestling style workouts, exercises, your traditional strength training. That's their workout. But every day, what they may do is they'll grab a hand gripper and they'll squeeze it several times a day. They'll just train their grip. Now, the key with this is it's low intensity. It's not a workout, but they're just squeezing it and getting a little bit of a pump, just a little bit, and they're just practicing it throughout the day. This is tremendously beneficial for gains, especially if you want to apply it to a specific lift. Another example, let's say you want to get better at pull-ups and you can only get 8 pull-ups and you want more pull-ups. Well, here's what you would do. You would do 1 pull-up throughout the day, so like 5 or 6 times a day.
Yeah, every hour. Just
and one pull-up's super easy. You could do 8. So you just go up to a pull-up bar, you do 1, come down, and then you're done. And you just practice throughout the day. Here's what you'll find if you did something like that. You'll get yourself to 15 pull-ups in a very short period of time.
You know, I think we all have personal stories that we shared.
Yes.
Every time you bring this one, it's been a long time since we brought it up, so it'll be fun to share it because maybe new people haven't heard this. I remember when I was 16, 17 years old and I worked at the dairy And a typical shift could be 6 to 8 hours for me. And where I milked the cows, there was this bar that was just up. I just barely had to jump up. Yeah. And I just for entertaining myself in the boring job that I'm by myself, I would just, every time I let the cows pass through, then I jump basically every hour or so. I'd get up and do a pull up or two.
Just one or two.
Just one or two. Easy. Not trying to hit my max at that time.
You're not trying to work out.
Yeah. I could easily do 10 to 15 back then. Bro, I got to a place where I could rip like 30 pull-ups, dude. I had never, that's the strongest to this day, even in my peak bodybuilding efforts, I was at pull-ups was during that time. And not really even to do it was more just messing around.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another example would be you want to develop your chest, let's say if you push and rep out push-ups, you could do 50. Well, here's what you do. You do like 8 push-ups throughout the day. You just get on the floor, 8 push, super easy. It's like, no big deal. Get up, walk around every other hour or so, or whenever you pass by your TV or you make a little place in your house or your office, every hour, every other hour, alarm goes off. I go down, do 10 push-ups or whatever. You'll get some incredible gains.
Yeah, just
in
keeps
those
that
body
signal alive. It keeps that recruitment process a priority. So it's boom. It's almost like you just like get right into that mode.
This is a complete lost art that strength athletes in the past, especially the Bronze Era athletes, would do. A lot of it was their labor. This was part of their job, whether they're swinging hammers or breaking rocks or whatever. If you've ever worked with a blue collar worker,
their forearms,
you just like their hands are just like, doesn't make sense. I remember, this was like my dad and his workers, and here I am, a 17-year-old kid lifting weights. I've been lifting weights for 3 years. I'm stronger than all of them if we go lift weights. But when it came to their hands, it was like, I don't understand how their hands are so strong and why they have so much stamina. None of them work out. Well, all day long, they're throwing mud up on the wall and they're swinging hammers. Mm-hmm. It was this kind of daily, low intensity lifting. So, and nobody practices this. People in prison oftentimes will do this, by the way.
Yeah.
Where they just do, they'll work out 6 times a day, doing the same thing over and over and over. Next up is, now this is somewhat well known in the athletic space, especially the Olympic lifting space, but it's called post-activation potentiation. Mm-hmm. And so what this looks like is if you want to improve your power, your ability to accelerate and also activate as many muscle fibers as possible, what you do is you go do one heavy rep of an exercise. Right afterwards, you go jump as high as you can. So or do an explosive movement for that body part. So it would look like this. Let's say I could squat 315 for 10 reps. Well, I'd go put 350 on the bar or 330 on the bar. I would do one, which would be kind of heavy, rack it up, and then right afterwards do an explosive jump. Mm-hmm. Let's say you do this with bench press. Let's say my max is 300 pounds. Well, I'd put 250 on the bar. I do one rep, rack it, get up, do a jumping push-up. It's called post-activation potentiation, and this has been shown in the data to activate more muscle fibers than almost anything else.
The first time I ever noticed the power of this was like, again, another unintentional thing. It was around the time that I was heavy deadlifting and I was training singles. And again, I wasn't doing max, but I was training very heavy singles. And I did a heavy single deadlift, and then I turned around and just kind of jumped up and grabbed the pull-up bar. My body never felt so light in my life. It was the wildest thing ever. And I remember being like, what the hell? That was
the only time I've grabbed the rim for basketball, and I was just messing around. And I did this for PRing for doing a football combine. I remembered that was like such a rad strategy going in.
Yeah, so awesome. All right, last is isometrics. You've heard us talk about them before. Nobody does them because they don't look sexy and because I think people don't understand the power of them. But isometrics build tendon strength. You want tendon strength. And they build grit, meaning you reduces your risk of injury. It makes you tough. It makes your body tough. Now, people use isometrics wrong. Here's what they do. People will do isometrics at the end of a workout, kind of as an afterthought, or maybe they'll use it in the beginning as a way to prime their body, which is totally fine. But I'm talking about isometrics is your workout. Mm-hmm. You are doing a week or two of only yielding, overcoming force isometrics. So this isn't isometrics where you're flexing. That's an isometric, but that's not what I'm talking about. This is like where you grab a bar that's chained to the ground,
pushing an immovable
and you're
object.
You're trying to deadlift it off the ground, or you get under a bar like you're going to squat, but it's got more weight than you can move, and you drive against it, and you do this for 15 to 30 seconds. This builds, and the data builds tendon strength faster than anything else, and this will make you strong. And the strength gains you get from isometrics are very rapid. Your force production, I'm talking about, dramatically goes up within a few workouts alone.
Yeah,
and people
we're so
don't
limited,
do whole workouts.
yeah, with tendon strength. That's not something that a lot of athletes are really considering, which, to be able to have long-term health and performance, like to address that alongside getting super strong with these compound lifts, like it's such a great complement to that and like really low risk.
It's not probably talked about enough. This is probably one of the more brilliant things as far as in some of our MAPS programs. MAP symmetry, it starts off with 2 weeks of isometrics.
That's phase 1.
And then you go into unilateral work, and then you finish with bilateral. And so talk about a really cool, if you've never done this before, you're not sure how to program it, or I'm not all the way bought in, following a program at Symmetry where we only commit you to 2 weeks of the isometrics like that, then you move to unilateral, then you get to see that expressed at the end of the program. So really good example.
And kudos to the people that stick through phase 1, because isometrics are so confusing to people, and people just want to go lift.
Well, I remember
it's like you're missing out.
If you
it's
remember,
frustrating for people to get.
If you guys remember, I fought for us to only do 2 weeks because I was nervous that too many people wouldn't, even though we knew that there was benefits to doing it even longer.
Oh yeah, I took the high school kids through like 4 weeks, and I totally agreed, because it was like at that point after 2 weeks it started to get
like, I just want to do
exercise. they were fighting back.
Yeah, to me that's the hardest part about this is adherence for people, because it's so unique and different, and you're not moving, and so you could get bored, or you're like, oh, but it's like, man, it's if you're looking for the most benefits and the gains, and also the most benefits and gains for the safety, right? Like it's like you're not risking a lot when you're doing isometrics.
It's the fastest way. Now, it's not the only way. In other words, you don't just do isometrics, okay? But it's the fastest way to bulletproof your body. Mm-hmm. If you want to have a body that doesn't get injured when you go and you push it hard, isometrics will do this in weeks. Whereas traditional strength training may take months, this will happen in weeks, and people just don't do it. And the data on it is, I was aware of isometrics just because I'm a big fan of strength training culture and history. And I knew that Bronze Era strength athletes like Eugene Sandow, like they were so strong for their size.
Yeah.
And I know that they did isometrics, and they would sell isometric courses back in the day in magazines or books. So I was aware, but I never gave it a lot of value or credence until I started working with Justin. And Justin talked about it, sent me some articles. I looked at the studies and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the value that they provide. And listen, just do a week. If you're watching this, you want to mix it up, do a week of those type of isometrics for each body part. Go back to your workout. Tell me you don't notice a difference.
Yeah,
It'll blow your
completely
mind.
worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of studies, our editor Josh sent me some studies.
Again, huh?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. So what he did is he opened like a can of worms for me on photobiomodulation, which is the term. Mm-hmm. This is a scientific term for light therapy.
Light receptors? Or?
Yeah, well, it's light therapy to induce changes in the body. Mm. In particular, red light therapy, like our partners at Joovv, right? So red light therapy, weird, but super backed by data, decades of data. It really does work. And we know this for skin. We know this for recovery, raises testosterone. Essentially, just to give you a little nutshell for people who are like, what is it? A particular wavelength of red light gets your cells, any cell that this red light touches, it gets the mitochondria to produce more energy and to essentially function more optimally. So whatever cell it touches works better. So your skin looks younger, your muscles recover faster, your joints don't hurt. I didn't know this. There's a whole host of studies on what's known as transcranial photobiomodulation. All right, what is that? You put red light on your skull, and a certain amount of this red light gets through the skull and goes to your brain. Okay? What? You know what the data shows? Improve cognition, improve visual memory, verbal fluency, antidepresssion, anti-anxiety. Like it makes your brain better. If you shine it on your head and you get
what's
close,
crazy is that that's part
through
of
the skull.
When I sit in front of it, one of the things I do, but mine was for
hair loss.
Yeah, I would sit my red light's here, and then I'll at least a few minutes out of the time I'm sitting with the thing just right on top of my head. So,
dude,
that's interesting.
I read a study for pain, so for people in opiate withdrawal, doing this on their brain reduced pain and withdrawal symptoms.
Interesting.
I read one for anxiety. I read one for
Does
depression.
it lower inflammation too, or is it just?
It's
like,
literally making your brain operate better.
it just functions better.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's studies on Alzheimer's and dementia because one of the hallmarks is that their brains just don't utilize energy very well, which is why
Who'd have thought like light,
dude.
would
Well,
induce all
when you
that.
kind of think
I mean,
about,
it kind of makes sense.
yeah,
but
think about how important the sun is to plants and all
Yeah.
in that process. Like it kind of makes sense when you think
well,
about
it's weird
that.
that you have receptors inside your nose and inside your ears.
Yeah.
For light.
Or your brain.
It's like, why?
Your
Yeah.
brain doesn't ever see the light.
Yeah.
Your brain's in a dark head.
That's true.
Yeah. When it gets red light, it triggers this response. By the way, for people who are like, oh, let me look up places where I could get red light therapy. There's a particular wavelength and a particular strength that's used in these studies. Joovv uses the same, like they use the study grade stuff. If you get like the cheaper stuff, you'll have to use it 20, 30
results
times.
vary. Who
By the
knows
way,
if it's gonna
I
work?
looked all that up. I looked up because I had some of my family members had heard us talk about it, and then they told me like, "Oh, hey, I got this," and they showed me, and it was only this much. And then I looked it up, and you can actually break down, and I forget what the measurement is of the red lights, but they all have like a measurement, right, that you can look at, and then it tells you like the benefits by the time, and so. Yeah, they save like let's say half the money on it, but it takes them 4 times the amount of time in front of the light to get the same amount that does.
So it's not as concentrated.
No, and it's not one of those like it's already to discipline yourself to sit in front of it 3 times a week for 10 to 20 minutes
difficult enough.
is already tough to be consistent with people. So if you have to do 4 times the amount of that,
Yeah,
it's
it's not going to work.
I mean, I guess you could save the money and then dedicate 4 times the amount.
It's a waste of time.
But it's just like, or you could spend the money, get the
Yeah,
best.
3 times, 4 times a week and get
do
crazy
less,
results.
Yeah, so
Totally. So take a left. I just learned just the wildest thing about my family.
I'm dying to hear what
you've
this
been holding
is.
on to this, and like,
Dude,
I need to.
So
know
have you
now.
guys ever done like Family Tree or whatever? What's that one website?
24andMe.
Yeah.
23andMe.
Or
24.
That's one extra. Adam got one more.
That's a mutant. Yeah.
Oh no, bro. All right. So anyway, do you guys have any like ancestors that you know of that
I bought that box 23andMe, or maybe I bought 24andMe. Maybe I got ripped
we
off.
got bad news for you.
I'm too much of a conspiracy theorist.
I
don't
bought
want
the
anything to do with it.
23andMe a year and a half ago when my aunt was telling me like, oh man, we found some people connected like that, and I was about to do it, and it just so happened to be it was during a time when I don't know, it was conspiracy theory conversation was like heavy in our podcast or whatever, and I'm like, the idea of giving them all that data of me, so it's still sitting there. I still have it, and I haven't done it.
Well, didn't you
Yeah,
find
it's been breached.
Isn't
Like,
it has?
yeah, so that's why I was like, nah.
Yeah. So didn't you find? Isn't that sword related to you somehow?
Yeah, that's my and we don't talk about it much because we don't know if it's a positive thing or not. So
Were they like a crusader? Like what is that? 'Cause it
yeah,
looks
that's
like
why I think we tried to do some homework on
German,
it.
descent.
So it's attached to my my great grandfather's side, right? And my aunt, she's like, I figured you'd like it. I was like, oh, awesome. So I totally took it. And then later on, she told me she did like more research on him, and I don't think he's was one of the greatest people.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah.
my bad. Did you have his sword?
Yeah, so,
Lots of beheadings.
yeah. I'm not sure if it was.
Well,
a good thing or not.
I don't know. Okay, this is wild, right? So when I was 12, we went to Italy on vacation, and my mom's side of the family, although now we're from Sicily, like my dad's, if you go back a certain amount of generations, they came from northern Italy. Mm-hmm. So my mom's maiden name is Visconti. Visconti is one of the most significant royal names in Italy, which I knew at 12 because we went to Milan and we saw the Visconti Castle, we saw this, that, and the other. But I never identified strongly with my mom's side. I think it's because I was a boy and I wanted to be like my dad and his approval. So I didn't really look into it. But I knew that her side were, they were essentially kings and queens of northern
descendants of them. Right?
Yeah, kings and queens of northern Italy. In fact, like if you're Italian, you learn this in history school. And again, you go to Milan, you'll see cathedrals and stuff with Visconti, the coat of arms, the whole deal. It's kind of wild, right? For whatever reason, yesterday, out of the blue, I was just like, I feel like learning about them. Let me read a little bit about the Viscontis. So I go and I start doing some digging. One of the most significant popes in Catholic history was a Visconti. One of my family members. So Pope Gregory X that's Visconti Castle right there. No, that's a museum. Yeah, there you go.
On the left, top left.
So Pope Gregory X, his birth name was Teobaldo Visconti. So once you become elected as Pope, you pick a different name. Incidentally, by the way, the first American Pope took on the name Gregory as well. But anyway, he was a Pope. So I have a family member back in, I think it's 11, I don't remember what year, it's like in the 1100s, who was a Pope. Dang. So it's funny. So I have a text, I text Father Steve, he's the producer of Bishop Barron's podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I just learned this. Now he's like a history nut, he's obviously a priest. He's like, dude, he was one of the most significant popes in our history. And I guess he was beatified, which is like one step towards becoming a saint or whatever. And he helped unify the church. That's his picture right there.
How cool is that?
How crazy is that, dude?
I
have a pope in my family, dude.
Looks just like you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So glad you're not an atheist anymore.
So he reigned from September 1st, 1271 to 1276, and he was born in 1210 in Piacenza, Italy. Wow. Teobaldo Visconti.
Now, did you? I'm assuming after you found this out, you must have called all your family, told your family. They didn't know, did
my
they?
cousin knew. I said to my cousin, "Oh yeah, you didn't know that."
Yeah, you didn't know that.
I'm like,
you're like, that's kind of significant.
We had an archbishop and then a pope. So we also have a archbishop. I think his name was Ottone Visconti, who was with.
Now, is that
church.
I don't know the structure. So is
archbishop is below,
right below. So in order to become a pope, you have to be an archbishop.
I believe
first,
so.
and
I
to
really
even
don't
be an opportunity.
But I read of the history, so I guess there was a 3-year vacancy, and there was some stuff.
Is that
going
normal
on.
To have a vacancy like that?
If they can't come to I know
they do. I know they do the whole smoke thing, and there's a process,
and it lasted for 3 years.
Is that normal? Is that
no?
Does it ever last? I didn't know that.
No, but they have to come to agreement.
Then, huh?
Yeah, and so it lasted for 3 years, and he reorganized or reunified the church, and so he's like considered a significant pope in the wild.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had a family member, dude, like that. I know.
Trip.
I know, it's wild. Yeah,
That is cool.
I'm glad I didn't learn something.
Yeah, I'm not sure about mine over here, bro. It's the German side of my family too. So I'm like, we'll leave
that's
that alone.
That's kind of how I found out.
It's a cool sword, but we'll leave it alone.
I wasn't Irish. I thought it was all Irish.
They call it a conclave, right?
Conclave,
yeah. So that was the longest one.
Oh wow!
For Pope Gregory.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
In fact, I think they tried to elect an anti-pope at the time. So there was like I don't know that I don't know.
He just throws terms around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. because I think that there was like there was a little bit of a where they were infighting, and so like no, we want this guy to be pope, whatever. So he came and reunified them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Not like the Gray Pope and there's all these other dude.
The history's crazy.
Yeah, look at if. I was on that one conspiracy theorist podcast, and they were talking about that kind of stuff, like all the different types of popes that exist.
Yeah,
and I'm like, is this true? I don't know. Yeah,
it's wild. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to make a comparison right now between two social media people.
Okay,
one of them very popular, one not so popular. So you sent a clip.
I couldn't help it, bro. I couldn't. I
couldn't finish it.
You couldn't?
I ended up watching the whole thing.
I watched
so
it like 5 times. It's like pure entertainment for me. I watched it like 5 times. Like this is epic.
Aubrey Marcus. Oh, yeah, dude.
That's so what he's talking about.
There was a post of him and his wife talking about their
open relationship.
He had what did he call it? In there, yeah.
The constellation.
Our relational love constellation, which essentially means
had an opening.
We just have a bunch. Yeah.
Our relational constellation had an opening.
Something like that. So
in other words, my wife wanted to bang some other dude.
Such an eloquent way to put that.
I know, it's so good.
And it's just
having another dude come in.
It's so beautiful that she's having pleasure with this other whatever. And I was like listening to this guy. I'm like, oh my God, dude, what are you doing? Like, and then at the end, the guy that's I guess now sleeping with his wife because they all love each other. Is like,
their love.
You guys need to bring a baby, Aubrey Marcus into the world. I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't bring a kid into this weirdness. Like that's terrible. But anyway, I'm going to compare him.
Yeah, who are you comparing him to?
Andrew Tate.
What?
Well, hold on. Here's why. Andrew Tate did this post that went viral. Talking about
all of his go viral.
But this one went really viral. Caused a lot of controversy.
Okay.
Where he said that the future is for polygamy, that men with high status need to have lots of different wives.
Oh,
because
interesting.
They're
He said
better.
that, huh?
Yes, because this is the way we did in history, this, that, and the other. And so he's going in a different direction.
That, yeah.
He's going in a different direction, but kind of similar to where they're like the notion of one man, one woman, like they're trying to break that.
So it's interesting that you bring up Andrew Tate, because
He's like
I
women is a
recently
possession thing.
I hadn't watched some of
such a
his
douche.
stuff in a long time, and I was like, you know what's going on with him? Is he arrested? I haven't paid attention to him in a long time, since we probably talked about him back when. So I just recently found some of his stuff and was going through some of his posts. And I sense an interesting tone in his content that reminds me of the same journey that Dan Bilzerian went down.
Yeah.
You can he's hilarious to me. So like he's pure entertainment for me to watch it, because some of the stuff he says is just so outlandish and wild that it's comical.
Well, that's the comparison I was going to make, is that Aubrey Marcus is, in my opinion, I think they're both dangerous, because the way they promote things that are not great. They're not great for society, not great for people. You want the data, there's plenty of it. It's especially not good for children. In fact, I heard a woman say, one of the ways we should judge culture or changes in culture,
What's good for our kids
is by judging it against the most vulnerable of us. Which
That
is
was
children.
I know who said that. That was the lady that
woman.
that feminist debate, which was really good.
Yeah, so it's like how
Was that Erica?
Not Erica, it was the
No,
other
it was
girl.
the other one?
Yeah, it was the other girl. And
So
it
it's
was a really
like-
good way to present it.
It is, because it's like, okay, cool. We want to do this thing, and I want to let my wife sleep with men, and I think it's
you know
great.
what-
How is this going to affect our children?
You know why that resonated so strongly with me is one of the things I've communicated before when people ask me about how things are different with fatherhood for me. One of the things that organically happened, I don't actively do this, I can't help but not see it through his eyes.
Yes.
So in even the silliest of decisions, like let's say making a purchase on something, let's say it's a little bit of, blowing money or this and that. I think that, one day my son's going to ask me about that, and how will I explain?
It's a great litmus test.
I don't, like I said, I don't even intentionally do it. It just happened when I became a father. But when I think about it, it's like, what a good way to look at it. Because if I find myself in just through the exercise of thinking about having that conversation, struggling to explain it to my kid on the justification of why I did said thing, maybe it's not a good thing.
That's right. Maybe it's just self-indulgent bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just like it's self-serving.
Yeah.
It's 100%. So here's why I don't like, this is why I think they're both douches or whatever. But I think Andrew Tate is better, not because I think he's better, but because he's comedy. He's not pretending to be a warrior poet or whatever.
He's openly, I'm an asshole. Like
he's just like, you can take a lot of what he says in tongue in cheek. And if you're a smart guy, you do. You watch him for the comedy and you don't go, I'm going to take his advice because it's all funny.
Yeah.
Aubrey takes himself really seriously.
Yes.
He's like, this is spiritual evolution.
I like that. I like that.
This is the right thing to do or whatever, which is, and you're right. It's a self-indulgent insanity. And really what I like to take it back to fitness, because I think everybody listening to this can understand when I do that. Is the person who says, I just want to eat whatever I want, are they more free than the person who says, no, I'm going to eat in a way that's healthy? Even though the person that says I'm going to eat healthy is restricting themselves from not eating the things that are, let's say, super tasty or hyper palatable or whatever, who's actually more free? The person who's going in the healthy way.
For the reasons of you're now healthy, you can do so much more.
You are free, and now in the spiritual sense or in the religious sense, you're free from sin or whatever. But someone like Aubrey, like, no, we're free. We're free to love whoever we want. No, you're actually under the tyranny of your lust or whatever the hell it is, your pleasure, your own self-indulgences. You're actually more free when you find a woman and both of you dedicate yourselves to each other for the rest of your life.
Thing, since you brought them up and we're comparing them right now and they are very different, that's the thing that I think they both are in common, is that's the piece of their life they haven't figured out, which is, I think that's probably why you feel so strongly about both their advice being not ideal for the young generation that's coming up, is that they both have maybe figured a lot of other things out in their life, and in giving them some credit, intelligent in some realms, but the relationship and that part, I think they both, and that's the sense I get when I listen to some of his content right now recently. He sounds, and it's been really fun to watch Dan Bilzerian's transition in the last.
He's completely different.
Yeah, but also seeing how much he still struggles, because he did that. He slept with so many.
He's so known for that.
And because he did now knowing that monogamy is the direction that he wants, still struggling with that because of all these behaviors and patterns that he has.
He's caused damage.
To
himself.
Yes. And so I find Tate is very similar with that and money. Like one of the clips I had just recently seen him was just kind of ranting just about how boring life is. And he's because he has so much access, he has everything he could possibly want. He can't spend his way to happiness and enjoyment. And it's like, it's so crazy because so many of us set that as this bar, and then our whole life we're working towards it. So, and really, it's the working towards part where the gold is at. And a lot of people, because they never reach that, get that opportunity. Maybe one of the greatest curses is to get all of that so early and so fast in your life, because then you go.
It's so funny. I'm reading Ecclesiastes right now, which was written by King Solomon, who was widely regarded at the time as like having the most money, the most wealth, he had thousands of concubines. And in Ecclesiastes, which he wrote, he's like, it's meaningless. It's nothing. I'm lost. What is it? It's just like chasing the wind, this and that. Because he got all the worldly things, and he's left in this place where he's like, this is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate, the thing about him that makes him dangerous is he attracts vulnerable young men who probably didn't have either father figures or they had bad father figures. And so they are attracted to this false idea of masculinity and this ultra machismo.
I think the reason why he is also, though, because there is this.
I think he's funny, but I think if you keep him that's okay.
I think there's a part of him that is needed in our society, so that's why it works. It works because there's this such a decline in masculinity.
So you think this could be used for good?
I'm not even making that argument necessarily, right? I'm not even going to try and make the argument that he is good. I'm saying that the reason what makes him so popular is that there is an underlying need in our society. Yeah, exactly. There's a void in our society of good masculinity, alpha, and we've gone so extreme the other way that, of course,
you're going to find
the ideal antagonist arises, right? He is the complete opposite of the woke,
the
beta, and the truth is, it's probably somewhere in the middle that we need.
For sure.
That is ideal. But you're going to get a lot of popularity because he's going to buck that opposite side. So I think that's why.
The truth is, masculinity.
I don't know where to categorize it, Aubrey Marcus.
That's
I don't either.
I mean, that's old. To me, that's old hippie bullshit recycled.
If I had to categorize
that's old hippie bullshit recycled.
I've seen cults, and I and it's very on brand.
But it's not. If I had to categorize him, if I had to use a stereotype or a popular word, it would actually be beta for Aubrey Marcus. That kind of like, I'm this evolved, no, do whatever, and it's all good.
I mean, I don't know what you categorize somebody who you don't mind your wife going and banging other dudes as, but it's beta maybe is. I don't know. But
there's a word for it.
There's no strength there. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would argue against it.
It's like a movie, man.
He would say it takes a lot of strength to be okay with your, bro. Why do you think you feel like shit about it?
I mean, I feel like why? So I know because I know Justin is very turned off by like cult leader guys. So I know that's like
he's got the cult leaders.
I know that. I know that like turns and cringes him inside. But I feel like when I look at the comments on that post, I saw at least half, if not more than half, people are very aware of what's going on in front of them. They're not sucked. There's only a small percentage of people that were like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Most everybody else was like, I pray that this love never finds me.
Yeah. One guy, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, was like, this is cool if that's what you want to do, but this is so performative. Like, why are you guys going to talk about it on a show or whatever?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Interesting.
Anyway, I was talking to Tom from Rock Recovery the other day, and it's really cool. I love the guys over there, and you know what he'll do every once in a while is if someone—
I need to catch up with Tom.
If someone went to Rock through our show, he'll ask me, hey, can you send a video and let them know that, of course, he gets their permission. So I'll always do that just to encourage them or whatever. But one thing that they do really well, and I'll be careful because I don't want to call anybody out, but a friend of mine has a friend who's dealing with addiction right now, alcohol addiction. And I reached out to him and I said, look, if there's anything he needs, if he needs help and he's into fitness, let me know. Because especially from what I learned from Tom, fitness is an incredible vehicle to help break substance abuse.
Yep.
And they use it at Rock Recovery a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's the discipline, it's the structure, it's the pain, and you see your body change, you see yourself getting stronger. And it's an easier way to take your addiction from alcohol, and then now you can become addicted to fitness, but using fitness as part of they use fitness as part of the strategy with rehab. And he says it's
It
one of
gives
the
you
reasons why they're
purpose,
successful.
self-growth.
Yep.
Like there's so much there to put you back on the right path.
I don't know about you guys, but I've known many people in the gyms that I've managed, and even people that work for me, who found fitness as a way to break alcohol addiction or other things.
I'm going to use this opportunity, since you brought up Tom, to apologize to him publicly, because I know that he has messaged me a couple times in the last couple of weeks at just the worst times in the middle of all the stuff that we've got going on. And I'm really good normally about getting back to people. So Tom, if you're listening to this, my bad. I got you. I'll reach back out to you, because him and I actually communicate quite often. And he literally couldn't have timed it worse as far as when his messages came through. We were in the thick of all the stuff we were dealing with.
And they've given out a few scholarships now already to some of our listeners.
I love that.
They help all of them.
Such a cool thing that we have.
It's like a $30,000, $40,000
people
scholarship.
to.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to hear about this muscle suit, Justin.
I put that in as like a just like a
That's not the thing
placeholder if we have
that
nothing
Aaron
to
was
talk
talking about on our show. Are you talking about that? Or
No. This isn't like cool and sciencey. Yeah, like performance
fake?
based.
Is it like one of
this is
those?
like S&M.
What?
I don't know why I got targeted for an ad, but apparently it's very exposing.
Those algorithms are really
I was
good.
like,
I don't know, bro.
I just
They know what you like.
stopped and I had to watch because I was like, this is bizarre. Like it was so weird to
What
me.
is it?
Well, because like if you think about what are they called, like furries, like there's this whole community of that, and then like people get like weird with like putting dressing up and bringing that into the bedroom. Anyways, there's this like mask, like you've seen those masks where it's just like holes in the eyes and like a mouth and like it zips up. So they have that, but it's like a huge.
What are you talking about, Justin?
like it's a suit that like it's like a huge muscle suit, like guy.
For people that are into that.
For people that are into that, it reminded me of like when you were talking about
Muscle worship.
bodybuilder, muscle worship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Now
it's like
hold on.
it's like padded suit.
It's
that like
a muscle suit for sex.
Yes. Yeah, like you look like a huge bodybuilder, but like you're just
it makes kind of sense because, well, first of all, it makes sense if you know about the muscle worship community, because that I was completely unaware of.
That's such a weird.
It was weird. I was
Space,
like, I didn't know this existed.
I did not know that was.
That's especially women, like jacked female bodybuilders that are like really jacked.
It's one
Guys
of the.
pay them.
It's one of the number one ways that people in that space have found a way to make money, because it's not a very profitable space. To be a bodybuilder for still today is not.
No, you're broke, dude.
Yeah,
No,
you're even the best of the best, the champion, barely makes enough to cover his steroids. Like that check he wins for first place in the world.
Oh, that's his steroids.
Is like literally like
His $150,000 check covers.
Yeah,
his
his pharmaceutical bill. So there's no money in it. Yes, you can get sponsors and things like that, but even that, it's not a lot. So a lot of them, and that's, by the way, 0.01%, right? So the rest of them make money doing that. And there's a huge community of people that pay for like videos of you just flexing a muscle.
or they'll oil you up.
Yeah.
Like, come to my house and flex, and I'll just put.
Yeah, I'll pay you
oil in.
$1,000 just to rub oil on your biceps.
You know what
Again,
they
this reminds me of the O'Hearn movie that we
Yes.
maybe watched.
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
ah.
That's exactly what went through my head when I'm like, bro, you got
this is a
suckered
fake
into making
suit.
this video.
But hold on, this is a fake.
Just
suit.
fake suit, and it's padded, but like huge, like you.
So let's play this out. A wife tells her husband, it would be really exciting, honey, if you put
I almost
on
want to bust that out.
you put on a muscle suit. That would really turn me on. First of all, the poor guy, right? He feels so. But then let's flip it. I wonder if there's dudes that are like, hey, babe, can you put on a muscle suit?
Oh my god!
Of course there is.
Of course,
bro.
that's
Of course
part. Yeah.
What is wrong with people?
Yeah,
doing
I mean, somebody's created the company because they realize there's a need in the market. So
Yeah, that was a new one. I just had to share.
Well, so female body. I read about this a long time ago. I was too young to read about this, but I subscribed to Muscle magazine back in the day, Muscle Media 2000, and it was like all the dark, like black market conversations around bodybuilding. I was fascinated as a 15-year-old kid in the whole world of building muscle. So this magazine would talk about steroids, but it also talked about how female bodybuilders, men would pay them to show up at their house and then like beat them up.
Yeah.
Like they'd show
hurt them, wrestle them,
yeah,
like
wrestle them,
choke
get them in
them out,
headlocks,
Yeah.
get them in scissor holds with their legs.
There's a documentary on that girl. There was a whole documentary on Netflix.
The one that got killed by her boyfriend.
Yes. And it was because of stuff like that. I think
Was that Bertle Fox?
I forgot.
It was Bertle Fox.
Is that the name?
I think
God, I
Bertle
don't
Fox
even
was the
remember
one that. Because I was all into.
that was an interesting documentary. I remember.
It's funny because and we have brought it up a bunch, but like the show Taboo, I was so into that show because I just like, I don't know, I like peering into like really weird people. Like it's just like that guy who fell in love with his car and he's just like making out with his car. I'm like, what?
Who's most likely to do that with a car?
Stupid. Stupid. Just because I have coffee in my garage and
Do they all have girl names? At least
name all your cars?
No,
they don't have
lie.
names. They don't have
Don't
names.
lie.
no Eleanor's in there.
They don't have names.
No, bro. If I ever see you kiss your car, bro,
I've never done
I'm gonna
something
beat the
like
crap
that.
out of you, bro.
I've never done
We'll
that.
have an intervention in here.
Although, I mean, I
lot
do
of
have
waxing.
chairs in the garage to sit in there, but it's not. I don't be kissing.
You have
them.
chairs in the garage?
I do. That's like the biggest thing that everybody laughs about when they come over.
You just
They're
sit there?
Just look out and drink.
But I've also I've also
Talk to them.
I've also I do not do that. I've structured it as like a piece of art, right? So that's how I look at it. It's art that I get to drive every once in a while.
He tells Ferrarella. That's what he calls it. Ferrarella is all his problems.
Don't do
I don't
that.
understand.
I name all my guitars, so I mean, I can't. talk
Exactly.
too much
He has
shit.
names of his guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's more likely
I
throw
play
me
them
under the
all
bus like
different.
that.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I just thought of you having a relationship with the guitar right now. That's terrible. I don't understand why you get hit with this algorithm as muscle suit.
I'm
Because
I
he's
have
the
no
one who's more
idea.
likely.
I watch weird things, man, and I don't know.
I want to see this muscle suit, Doug. Is there a way you can find this?
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
put it on.
Come on,
put it
Doug.
on his
Your
algorithm.
Google
now.
search is all messed up. You're already being watched.
You're already
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah,
It's
the
already-
NSA is already watching.
We did
the hell
that
out
to you a long time ago.
What would you type in? Muscle suit SNN?
Hey, while he's
Yeah,
looking that up,
S&M
which one of you
muscle
had the
suit.
Gen Z trend young women? What's that?
Oh, that's
Can you tell me that?
that's wild. So first, I want to see the suit because it'll be a weird
It's
transition.
like a black.
Yeah, it's
zip
I'm
up
seeing
suit.
some stuff here.
Padded
Hold on
suit.
a sec.
Yeah, pull it up here real quick. Let's
All
see.
right, look at this.
Well,
Let's.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
It's actually
They're kind of expensive, huh?
yeah, it's more
They're
like
actually
the one
pretty
in the
good.
middle, but
there's
it was bigger than that. Like it was like way oversized.
Let me get some more images.
Just work
here.
out.
Yeah.
Just
Well, they
Well,
get
this
like
is-
that.
This would be a
It's-
lot easier.
I mean, this is what a hack for
Way
a little
easier.
skinny guy, you know?
dude, that's weird. That's kind of creepy.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what.
those are like actually
Hey.
good.
Oh yeah,
those
more
are
like that one. You see that one? in
They're
the
like
far
really
right?
good.
No, this one here?
Yeah. I'll tell you what right now.
Those are like really.
Yeah,
good.
I'll
that
tell you
one.
what. If you bought that
But
for
it was
me,
all black.
if you bought that for me as an 8-year-old kid, I would have wore that shit every day. It would be awesome. Every day as an 8-year-old kid.
Oh yeah.
I got my son.
I mean, this would be a fun Halloween costume.
That would be a fun old.
I got my son Hulk pajamas. Did I tell you? What did you find, Doug?
You can see this has a zipper, you know, so it makes sense.
Oh, in the front.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Yeah,
that
you
area.
Wow,
And,
$2,000 for that one.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's definitely got to be it right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what Justin is talking about.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah. It's just,
Look at no emphasis on the Cavs though. No,
No.
I don't even care.
Nobody
cares.
accurate.
That's very
We're
accurate.
fine. Yeah, we're good. I got my.
Rare you're gonna get that.
I got my son Hulk pajamas. I don't know if does your kid do this. Whenever I get him superhero pajamas, maybe I told him this. He gets the powers, and I pretend like he's got the powers.
yeah.
So he puts on these Hulk pajamas, and he comes and wrestles me, and act like he beats me up.
Smash.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not fair. You got me down. Anyway, all right, Gen Z young women. You want to hear what a trend is happening with
Yeah.
young women? In
Yeah,
Gen
let
Z?
me hear.
They're going to.
It's not the trad wife thing.
No,
or
dude. They're going to conclaves to hang out with nuns for like a week or two at a time and pray. And that's this. I literally saw this.
That's a
Gen Z trend with these young women.
Interesting.
Who are like, and I get it because with social media and
Convents.
convents.
Yes?
Sorry,
Not conclave.
what's a conclave?
That's the thing for the Pope.
Oh, my bad. Convents. They go to convents and they go and they live with them for like a week or two.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Think about it. It makes sense, right? Like if you're a kid right now bombarded by social media, pornography, electronics, no connection, that could feel like I could see how some kids will run in that direction.
to maybe back you up a little bit, I told you guys about the other day that my neighbor, we had the little neighborhood party. So I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I don't think I did. And I'm talking to one of my neighbors who's like a tech dude, engineer guy, and he's got 4 kids and they got large gaps. And he's telling me that, you know, the ones that were already using iPads, iPhones during COVID, it just, he's like, I lost them. Never. But his youngest, it saw the older siblings like that, and they intentionally restrict,
Wow.
and they're restricting themselves. It's not him or anyone telling.
Wow.
She was standing right there, having the conversation, and and was like nodding her head, like, yeah, no, they're this generation coming up is more aware of that than the generation that was kind of born with it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I feel like I don't know what age that group that is, but it seems like preteen and teens now, early teens.
So there's some hope.
Yeah. It would be interesting to hear from you guys, because especially you, because you have one that's coming up on teen. How old's Everett right now?
Yeah, he's 12.
He's 12, so he's right at that right at that age. But
I mean,
he's probably
pretty much a teen. He acts just like a teen right now. It's crazy, dude. Oh,
It happened so fast.
It's tough.
The change just happened so fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild. No, my 15-year-old got back from a Christian camp for a week, and there was no reception up there, and she was talking all about it. And I'm like, do you see the difference of connection when you're with people and no phones? And she's like, I do. She's like, I totally do. And then she said, you know what's hard? She goes, what's hard is when you're with your friends and everyone is on their phones and you're not. She's like, and then you're like, what do I do?
You know, I'll tell you what happened. And this is I bet it's happening already with the kid that's the popular, confident kind of leader personality, calls it out. We're all sitting here together.
Yeah. Hey,
what are you doing? What are you doing on your phones?
Yeah.
We're all right here. You got your, like, it's gonna take that kid
I agree.
to be kind of like that, and then that kid, and then it starts to spread out like
Shake
that.
him out of it.
And so all it takes is the kid that kind of is the leader of the group that becomes the person who starts to say that, and if they're aware.
It's so hard, dude, when they're so surrounded by, because I put restrictions on my daughter, and she gives me pushback a lot because she's like, my friends can do this, my friends can do that. But when you find other parents who are aligned and then they hang out with those kids, way easier. And the reality is this, your teenage kids are more influenced by their peers than they are by you. So it's important that you help find, I don't know how you would curate this, but help find a friend group where the parents align with you, because otherwise it's up.
Do you also think a lot of it has to do though with like putting the toothpaste back in the tube for you, where it's like
totally,
you're like, if you would have like from the before,
oh yeah,
communicated why we don't.
That's the thing. The hold out as long as possible.
Because
I really believe in that.
My cousin Stephanie, they were like that from day one, and one of the things I was most impressed with was talking to their 16-year-old daughter, right, who's in the thick of all that stuff, who has very strict restrictions around social media, and like asking her like, how do you feel about that? She's like, oh man, it sucks. I wish I could use it more. And there's a lot of times where it's like my time limit's up, and my friends. And she's saying all the things, and I'm like, and then she'd say something like, yeah, but I get it. I understand where my parents are coming from. I said, well, one day you're going to be a parent. And I said, well, would you do the same thing, or how would you do it? And she goes, oh no, I would do it the exact way my parents are doing.
That's great.
To me, that's like such a good sign. Is that because you can admit, yeah, it's hard. Yes, I want it. Yeah, all those things, and then also admit, but I totally understand where my parents are coming from, and I too will parent the same way. To me, you won
100%.
As a parent, if you got that message through, it's normal for them to have a little resistance, to be bummed out they're not. But if they can admit that I would do the same thing, which I think that to me, I took away from that. I was like, oh, I'm totally going to use that exercise with Max.
100%. And it's like this. Look, and this again, I'm going to speak to fitness because that's our audience, and I think they'll get this. If you do what everybody else does from a health perspective, you're going to be fat, unhealthy, and sick. It's a fact. Do what everybody else does, eat the way everybody else eats, and exercise or don't exercise like everybody. And the result of that is you will be sick, obese, unhealthy, diabetes, chronic disease, all that stuff, right? That's true for everything. That's true for everything. Yeah. If you live like everybody does, you're also going to have mental illness. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have depression. You're going to have poor. And the data on this is clear. In other words, you have to be different. You can't be like everyone else.
How do we get an Amish person on the show, dude?
I would love it.
I keep thinking about that. Did you hear about
figured out a lot, dude.
Going to Texas and just like building and rebuilding buildings and everything, and just it's like the coolest. I don't know. I'm just so impressed by that culture and what they have stood their ground, and how they're like not incorporating. It just shows like it's a great example to see that contrast of like, it has technology really benefited us.
In some ways,
I would love to have someone on the show. I'm fascinated with the culture. I would like somebody. I mean,
it's extreme, but
is one of them listening right now and they're pirating it or something like that? Come on the show.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Somebody's got to have a family, friend, or connected.
I do. If I'm not mistaken, because I read, there was a moment there for like a day where I was into their.
Like maybe we catch them on the, what's it called?
I think they have like one computer for the
We
whole.
have to like
community.
go
they haven't-
there.
We know. We just need to catch one that's on the what's it called when they get the
Rums.
yes, when they can go wild. They can go wild
Something
for
like
is it a year they get?
Rum Springer.
They get like a year, right? So we just need to catch one that's on the year of their wild. They can do everything, and then get them on the
Can you
show.
imagine we have them come on and they pull up in a horse?
What's it called?
Yeah, it's Rumspringa.
And it lasts 1 year,
like a
and it's
metal
when they
band.
turn 15 or 16 or 18. How old?
Ramstein.
Yeah, it's a period of adolescence.
Yep.
Boys and girls are given greater personal freedom. Let me see, as far as the age.
Even that, I'm fascinated with that strategy.
I know,
right?
I am too.
Restrict, and then it's like, okay,
Now it's your choice.
go bananas for a year and live it up, and then see, and then come back and see what
Majority
happens.
comes
Yeah,
back and some stay, right?
So around age 16, it could be a few months, several years, and up to 5 years.
What is the percentage of them that come back?
Majority.
yeah.
The majority. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's the majority.
I want to know how many. Well, I want to know, is it 50?
actually rare
Is
that
it
they don't.
51 or is it like 80, 90? Because that's impressive.
If I'm not mistaken, it's in the 90s.
85 to 90%.
Wow.
There you go.
Talk about that is kind of cool.
Significant.
Yep. Like why would they go back? And a lot of it is their community, their family, their
little
culture.
families there.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
what
what they know.
I imagine it happens is they value that over all the crazy other things that the
Yeah.
world has to offer.
Yep.
And they go, yeah, cool. Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But I would give all that up to be back to that's
Yep.
that's impressive.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to have someone on the show to talk to them about that.
Brain.fm are engineered sounds that have been shown in studies to induce different states of mind. In other words, they can make your brain waves appear to be the kind of brain waves that you need for focus, concentration, sleep, meditation. The studies show it really does work. I love Brain FM. I love it for focusing. So if I want to do something difficult, I put it on. Within 10 minutes, I can feel like I'm more focused. I can also use it for sleep or meditation. By the way, try it out for 30 days for yourself. Literally, just head over to brain.fm/mindpump. Try it for 30 days. Do it once. You'll feel the difference. Back to the show.
Our first caller is Yaros from the Czech Republic.
What's up, Yaros?
What's happening, dude?
How you doing?
Hey guys, all's going well. Thank you so much for taking my call, and a big hello from over the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
How can we help you?
Awesome. So I'll jump right in to give a little bit of background to my question. A while ago, I started with MAPS Anabolic, and after doing that for some time, I ended up developing a little some joint pain, specifically in my left elbow, the left knee, and the right wrist. I ended up getting MAPS Prime to address some of those issues, and that was really helpful as well. But what I found was quite some big glaring differences in some different sides of the body. So for example, really obvious one would be when doing the 90-90, for example, sitting on one side of the body, like sitting on my right side of the body, having the legs on the left side was completely comfortable and felt really, really good. But then on the other side, it was really, really a lot more challenging. And the same with the wrists. I noticed big differences in the wrists. And my main question is, how would you recommend to address this? If I should be doing kind of focusing just on the side that is worse, or if I should be kind of half and half anyways, doing both sides with these things or something in between. And then I'd have 2 quick follow-ups as well, if that's okay.
Good question.
Yep.
So you still want to do both, but you want to focus more on the side that needs the help. Okay, so what it looks like is more intensity, more focus on the side that is that is the problem area. Now, what you would do, what this would look like, let's say you're doing the 90-90, is when you get into position, you start with the side that, let's say you start with the side that's easy. You sit in that position and just kind of hold it for a little bit and just kind of sit there for a little bit. Then when you get to the other side, you really work at improving mobility. So that's what it looks like. What you don't want to do is ignore one side completely, because you can actually cause problems doing that as well. So you do both, but more of the focus and the intensity is on the side that needs more help.
I actually even like my clients and myself I actually like the same way we recommend the lifting. I actually do the weaker side first, just to so
Right.
your intent is there, right? So like I'm okay. And this is, by the way, this is really common. Some people it's more glaring than others. I had the exact same thing. You know, I lacked internal rotation on the right side versus the left. And so I started on that, and I just a lot of intensity into really working on it. And then when I got to the side that I'm already good at, it was just kind of like, it was more going through the motions, let's say. So when I went on to the side that I have less mobility, less connection to, I'm starting on that side. There's a lot of intent, there's a lot of focus. And then when I get to the side that has good mobility, I just kind of go through the motions. So I still want to do it and practice it, but the intent and focus is just really on that side that I lack the most. So to Sal's point, you're going to still do both, but you're really focused on the other side. And then if you don't have already, I love to send you Map Symmetry. That's the program for you. So if you pair Map Symmetry with some of those Maps Prime Pro 90/90s and movements together, it's such a great, this will really balance you out after a full cycle of that. You'll notice a huge progression by running those together. Do you have that yet?
No, I have Maps Anabolic, Maps Prime Pro.
Yeah, this would be a great time for you to do a lot of unilateral work, which is Map Symmetry is based off that. So keep doing what you're doing already from Prime Pro. And by the way, too, like,
that's the natural progression from there, because then we strengthen it, right? So you regain that sort of range of motion where you're stable and controlled, and then start strengthening it with tension. And then we start adding a bit of load through, isolating it with this unilateral focus. But yeah, I think that would be a great follow-up for you.
And keep in mind, frequency is king here over intensity, right? So like when I talk to clients about stuff like this, they might be good at like right before their workout, or maybe one day they focus on mobility, and it's like, man, I would rather you get down and get in that 90/90 3-4 times in the day for 2 minutes than, one day a week for an hour, right? It's more valuable to you to just, every time you kind of think about it, you're at home playing with the kids, doing your thing, you just slide down, you get in the 90/90, we just work on it. That
replace your sitting with it as much as possible.
Yeah, that will serve you and move you along so much faster than like just one day a week of high intensity mobility, or only doing it when you work out. You'll notice your progression a lot more that way.
The other thing to consider, Yaros, is when you start to see repeated pain and injuries, so it's like multiple joints, multiple issues, and you didn't injure it, it's not like you did something to hurt it, but it's just like starts to ache and whatever, that often points to a few different things. One, overuse injury. I'm doing the same plane of movement too much. I'm not moving outside of that. Two, I'm doing too much exercise or too much intensity for what I can handle at the moment. And that's could be quite complex. I'm getting poor sleep, so now the same workout is too much workout, or I've been working out too hard for too long. Or it could be I'm not feeding myself appropriately. So you got to look at all that, because whenever I start to feel all these, like, one thing hurts, now another thing hurts, now another thing hurts. Yeah. It's typically that. It's not just I got mobility issues. It's like
most time it's a deficiency of like how often do you move laterally? How often do you rotate? Right. Yeah, you got to really kind of assess that in your programming, in your daily activities.
Which, by the way, that would be the ultimate progression from symmetry, right?
That's right.
So the ideal pathway we go right now is we do what you're doing right now, keep focusing on Prime Pro, go through symmetry, and then after symmetry, we do a program like, let's say, old-timey, something that's going to challenge like rotation and some of those things, and to keep that mobility, to keep that stability and strength. The other thing to consider too is, I don't know if you've tried to figure out the root cause, like, and it could be all the things the guy said. It could also be your job. I don't know what you do all day. Sometimes people that have what is it?
So my job. So I don't want to say I'm a dancer. I have a dance school, but it's not something that I'm doing like extremely professionally or very intensively. I think the root cause was probably too much weight. I feel like that was it. And for example, with the knees, I think a skill level of technique was having an issue. So I ended up figuring out that I tend to stand a little bit on the inside of my foot.
Oh, good.
And that causes my knees to go in a little bit. But maybe along this, what we're talking about right now, would you mind if I just kind of tell you the 3 things that I've changed in my workouts in order to joint issues, and you tell me if you feel like I'm kind of missing something or not?
Yeah.
So basically, I mentioned that I was doing Maps Anabolic. I'm still doing that one. And before I was just doing that by myself, I would get right into it, start off with a couple of sets of higher and higher weights. For example, for the deadlift, starting 3 sets or something of slightly increasing weights, and then going into the program. Right now, what I started doing is I started taking about 15 minutes before every workout to focus on this mobility stuff, specifically on the issues, stuff from my MINDPUMP, Maps Prime Pro mainly. So I started taking about 15 minutes before the workouts on this. I started, generally speaking, trying to focus on slightly lowering the weight and increasing reps first several times before increasing weight. I feel like the issues were probably coming from too much weight. And now that I lowered it and focusing first on growing the reps before adding weight, that's the second thing that I'm doing. And so third thing is that when I was feeling like it's active, the pain, and still there, then I'm kind of skipping out completely some exercises or replacing them again with mobility. So for example, instead of biceps curls or triceps extensions from behind the back, so I would just do like light sets of Zatmans and then jump into the other MAPS anabolic workouts. So those are the three things that I'm kind of adapted, and I feel like it's improving and helping. But would love to hear if you feel like it's along the right track.
Yaros, how many times have you done MAPS anabolic in a row now?
So I did it 2 years ago for like 3 months, and then now half a year ago I went back into it, and for the last maybe 3 months or so I've been doing it relatively consistently twice a week.
Okay, and then so you got in. So you've redone it a couple times in a row.
You know what? I got stuck in phase 1, and I just was progressing in the one phase. I think there are like 3 phases, right? I was just kind of in one phase, slowly growing the reps, weights in that one phase, which might be.
That's absolutely.
So here's the deal. Yep. What you're doing right now is Band-Aids. Mm-hmm. So if I was training a power lifter with a competition, then we would do what you're doing, because not moving out into different programming, you got a competition coming up, that's not really an option. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to kind of Band-Aid things until we get to the competition. What you need to do is cycle out of MAPS anabolic. MAPS anabolic is so effective at getting you really strong in one plane of movement. What tends to happen to people is they stay there. Yeah. And then they're going to hurt. Yeah. You're going to hurt. And I don't care how much mobility you do, because the mobility is never going to equate the same intensity and drive and focus as the workout. Unless your mobility is you're spending more time on that than the workouts, which is almost never the case. So you need to go into symmetry, then you need to go in performance, and then maybe go back into MAPS anabolic. But you've been stuck in MAPS anabolic for too long, especially phase 1.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. And it does make sense that you feel better doing the things you're doing. Those were good, like Sal said, Band-Aids. Like those were good options if you were going to continue that path, but there's better options for you right now. Right. And a better option for you right now would be to go to symmetry, focus on the mobility, move through all the phases as they're laid out and stuff like that. Yeah. There definitely is a reason why we only block things in 3 or 4 weeks and then we move on, because this is very common. And the idea that we try and build in all the programming is to make sure that it's balanced like that. And if you stay in a phase for a really long time, this tends to happen, especially anabolic.
And so would you recommend I go to phase 2 of anabolic, or
right to symmetry?
No, go right to symmetry. You're done with MAPS anabolic.
Yeah. Right to symmetry. And I wouldn't bring you back, like Sal said, to anabolic till after a whole cycle of symmetry, a whole cycle of performance or old timey, and then go back. Then go back to MAPS. Now, what's cool is if you do a good job and consistent with your Prime Pro, you do good in symmetry and consistent, you go through performance. When you come back to MAPS anabolic, you're going to feel like a beast.
Yep.
You're going to feel
all the strength stability around your joints,
you'll feel stronger than you've ever felt. You won't have the aches and pains. You're going to feel amazing when you do that, if you follow it that way.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. And maybe just super quick last follow-up. Is there any supplements for joint specifically? I know I was in Spain right now visiting my dad. He said something about collagen. I don't know anything about it, but is there something would you recommend for joint pain?
No, I mean, you could take things that are, again, kind of Band-Aid things. If you stay well hydrated, you're eating adequate protein, there's some supplements that'll help with inflammation, fish oil, high EPA fish oil on a regular
red
basis.
Light therapy if you have access.
But it's not gonna fix the problem.
Gotcha. Cool. Makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. And I'll be really looking forward to the MAPS symmetry. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it.
And thank you guys for all the episodes that you do. You really helped switch my health and fitness life to a better direction over the last couple of years. So really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I think here's why we write our programs the way we do. It's not to necessarily, yes, it is to continue you progressing. But what are we considering with that? Plateaus with progress, yes. Potential injury, yes. That's also what's going to plateau you.
Getting too strong just in one direction.
Yeah. Now the reason why I knew what the answer was, I just had to I had to ask him the questions just to confirm it, and it's because it wasn't just one joint. It's like my right wrist, my left elbow, my left knee,
Whole body's talking to you.
Yeah. So it's like
Kinetic chain issue.
either you're overtrained, you have terrible sleep, or you're doing the same things over and over and over and over again, and you're not moving outside of that. And you can do mobility to remedy it to an extent, but it's not going to outweigh.
It just dampens the signal a bit.
That's right.
Yeah, it doesn't fix it.
100%.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Lori from Canada.
Hi, Lori.
Lori.
Hi, guys. This is incredibly surreal talking to you. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I just want to take a couple of minutes to really thank you for everything you do. I honestly can't even count how many times I've referred to my podcast when I talk about MINDPUMP. I really appreciate everything you share, not just about fitness, but parenting and your faith journeys. I've been listening for just over a year and have learned so much. And I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for how much your content carried me through my first pregnancy and postpartum. And I try not to get emotional because I'm still postpartum. I blame my hormones. I was honestly really nervous about how I'd manage pregnancy weight gain just because of issues I've had in the past. But from what I learned from you guys, I didn't fall into crash dieting or overtraining. I felt informed and empowered and able to trust my body. I used MAPS 15 during my third trimester all the way up until the day before I went into labor.
Awesome.
And I did MAP starter postpartum, then 15 and 15 performance. Gave me structure and confidence during an overwhelming time. I'm proud of how I managed it, but I give a lot of credit to you guys for helping getting me through it. So thank you so much.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Yeah.
So now to my question. I'm going to provide a little bit of context after I ask it, just for where the question's coming from. So my question is, what advice do you have for raising kids to have a healthy relationship with food? For the context, I have struggled with my weight and body image for most of my life. I was overweight from a really young age, and although I started going to the gym and getting healthier in my 20s, and I'm now 32, I spent years doing all of the wrong things: endless cardio, program hopping, overtraining, under eating, and then led to dealing with binge eating, orthorexia, and body dysmorphia for many years. The last 5 years have been much better. And honestly, your podcast has helped a lot with that in the last year and a half, but I do still struggle with food noise and feeling a lot of guilt when I eat off track. So now I'm a mom to a 9-month-old son, and I do hope to have more children, but I worry about passing on my struggles with food down to my kids. Adam, I've heard you talk a lot about how you've managed sugar with Max, and I love the approach. I've talked to my husband a lot about it, and he's very much on board. And I've tried implementing it already, and I've already gotten some pushback from friends and family when I say something like, yeah, he doesn't need a lick of your ice cream, it's okay. I get responses like, oh, it won't hurt him, or, comments that I'm being too restrictive, or that I might be projecting my issues onto my son. I just don't feel that a 9-month-old really needs added sugar at this point in his life.
They do not.
And again, like I said, my husband is fully on board and supportive and happy to step in if someone's not listening. But still, just not only managing our home, but also input and judgment from others. It's a challenge. So I'd just love to hear your thoughts both on how to help kids develop a healthy relationship with food and how to confidently hold those boundaries when others are questioning your parenting choices regarding health and fitness.
That's
Great question.
Battle.
And I mean, personally, I can only speak to this from my personal experience. Like, by no means do I think I'm an expert in this at all. But I do think that one of the best decisions that Katrina and I ever made was sticking together on this. We too had a conversation around this. We kind of knew that we both have families, a lot of sugar, a lot of stuff like that around, that it was going to be challenging. And so I think the number one thing, which is what you guys have already done, is make sure that you're united on it and you agree that I think this is good. And I would communicate to them when they say things like that, because of course they would say that, oh, he's gonna binge when he gets older because he's gonna rebel, and it's like, oh no, he's gonna be able to have candy and ice cream as a kid. Like, absolutely, when he can talk to me and ask me for it, I'll cross that bridge. But until he can talk, it's a hell no right now, because he doesn't even know if he wants it or not. And so I don't feel like introducing that to him. And so we really stuck hard to that. And it was the first year was probably a little rough with the family, but then after a while they started to get it and respect it. And especially when I would confirm with them, like, hey, don't worry. I do want him. I want him to have ice cream. I want him to enjoy those things. but please don't rob that of me. Like as the parent, like I want to be able to give them that and do that with them. And you going behind my back or doing things like that is you're robbing me of that. And that's not fair. And don't worry, he's going to get his ice cream and candy. And one day you guys can go get a scoop together. And I look forward to that. But right now we've just agreed at these early stages that we want to help shape his palate. And so, and a lot of that looked like for me, just, Max ate what we ate. Just chopped up smaller versions of it. And so we just normalized, like we never talked about food. I never said, this is a good food. This is a bad food. This is what we eat. And so I think a lot of it stems from just consistency around the two of you as parents and what you guys make for dinner and what you're around. We never ate fast food. We never did things like that. We cooked. In fact, when we had him, we really ramped up the consistency around making our meals. For like now he's older and he knows what chicken on the stick is, and we get food delivered, and it's all. And by the way, my son gets ice cream, cake. He gets all the things now. But it's amazing to watch his relationship with it. He has no crazy pull for it. I can offer him one bite of it and he's fine. He doesn't ask for more. Like there's a lot of times where I've actually given him unfettered access because he's at a party with other kids, and he'll take a bite and put it down and he doesn't care. He doesn't have this pull and urge. And a lot of times some of the stuff is so sweet and overpowering. He's like, Daddy, I don't like it. And he prefers things like fruit and Cocoa Whip. Like that Cocoa Whip and fruit to my son is like the most, and I really attribute that to shaping his palate in those early years by being consistent with the types of foods that we ate and keeping all the family members at bay with feeding him the sugar. And now I don't even manage it. It's incredible. It's a really cool thing that I think we both look back and go like, yeah, that was the right call. So that's been my experience and kind of how we handled both the family, and then also about like I do think, and I'm sure you've heard Sal talk about this before, like you really do not want your kids to catch you shaming yourself for diet choices or talking about your body in relation to the food that we eat. It's it's fuel, it's energy. That it's all positive in that matter. And honestly, I don't think you even need to have that much of a conversation around it for a long time. I don't even think it's necessary yet with my son. We just do the thing. That's how we eat,
Yeah, Lori, I want to address the shame part because that can be really, really challenging. And I mean, this. You mentioned faith. Like we're all in need of grace. Like we're so far from deserving it. It's not even funny. The more you realize it, the more you can extend it to other people, including yourself. So, and this is very difficult when you have children because the mistakes you make become so obvious because you love this human so much. And so it's really easy to be like, oh my God, I'm not perfect. Oh my God, I did this thing. So be careful with that and feel God's grace. That's the only way you'll be able to extend it. When it comes to the habits that our children develop, the data is pretty clear on it. Children, their habits come from our habits, not from what we tell them to do. So the most effective thing you can do to help your children develop a better relationship with food is for you to have a better relationship with food. That's 90-something% of it.
I'm working a lot on that.
That's it. That's going to do everything. That's going to do everything. Now, let's get to the family part because this becomes a little bit more complicated. How often are your children with family? Is grandma watching them on a regular basis, or is it more like visiting? Like, what does it look like?
We visit with my mom. Like right now, she's at home full-time recovering from an injury. And I'm on maternity leave. So we're there pretty frequently. And, she's got the classic, like, well, he's at Becca's house. It's okay. And I'm just like, ew, no, I hate that rule. Yeah. Like, it's just, and she's getting it. I think that's a big part of it. It's just, it seems like every new person that we encounter, and we're pretty social people. So he's not often somewhere without me at this stage, just because that's just how it kind of is. But yeah, I know that time will come as he gets a little bit older, that he'll spend more time with people that when I might not be there, especially when I go back to work. Yeah. So
here are the things that you need to balance out. This is where it gets, I think, more clear. The most important thing that your son or your children can get with this is your mom or your mother-in-law?
My mom.
Your mom. Okay. The most important thing that your children are going to get with your mom is not the food that she gives them. It's the relationship that they have with her.
Yep.
There's nothing more important than that. Like their relationship with grandma is going to outweigh by far, it's not even the same universe, to the foods that she gives them. So that's what you weigh, okay? Now, because you guys are there so often and because it's your mom, you can have lots of conversations with her and you can explain this to her and you can say, Mom, I really need you to respect this because it's so important to me and I love you so much. And it's so important. Now, if this becomes this is going to ruin or really cause stress on the relationship between your mom and your children, because that can happen sometimes. In my culture, my mom, she almost doesn't know how to show love in any other way than feeding you and hugging and kissing you. Yeah. So it's like I took her hands and tied them behind her back. Okay. So there's a lot of conversation and my mom tries to do her best, but she goes outside the lines all the time and I'm okay with it because this is how she shows love and this is her limitation. And honestly, I want her relationship and my children's relationship to feel good. Because what ended up happening with my mom is she started to feel anxious. I don't know what to do. And she would get texts. Is this okay? She'd send us pictures of things. Is that okay? Can I do this? I'm like, oh, this is making it so that she can't develop this relationship with my children. Yeah. So I loosened up quite a bit, but there was a lot of conversations around it. So that's what you end up, weighing out with your kids and your mom. And it's a lot of conversation, and your mom will probably learn to respect it and get it because she doesn't get it now, maybe. But she'll probably start to get it, and then it's going to be okay. And it's never going to be like it is with you. Like your kids, the way that they eat, and the way that you are with them, will never be the same as it is with grandma or someone else that you really trust and love. But that's okay. It's okay that it's looser at grandma's house because that's grandma, and they have that kind of relationship. It'll probably be like that with you and your grandkids. And that's okay. So that's the balance. And I can't give you the perfect answer because I don't know what that is. I don't know what your relationship is, how you're going to see that. You'll have a much better read on that. But that's the thing, because what can end up happening sometimes with fitness fanatics or people who are really fitness minded is we can put so many restrictions that then we can turn it into a fight. Like, no, this is a line in the sand. I've actually heard and I've heard fitness fanatics say, well, I'm not taking him to grandma's house because she refuses to respect me. Yeah. Oh, really? What happened? Did they give her, what did she do? She gives him a lollipop. I'm like, I don't know if that's really a good trade-off. She's not handing him cigarettes. So I don't know if that's really a good, so that's the balancing that you kind of have to make. And then the other thing I would say is you want to minimize the conversations with mom in front of child because that's what the child internalizes. So she's going to hand them ice cream. Mom, he can't eat that. Kid hears that. So you know what you do? You let him have the ice cream.
Then
when you go home,
talk to mom later.
Hey, Mom, I know you gave him ice cream.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that anymore. Like, it's really important to me, but not in front of the kid. Because
that's a really good point. I didn't think about it that way.
Oh, it's a big deal because the kid, what they start to do is they start to pick sides.
Yeah, and that's where they'll rebel. That will cause a rebellious behavior because they'll be like, my mom never lets me do this. And then it's like everybody else wants it.
Or what's more likely to happen because your mom is when they're little. Now, when they're older, they'll rebel against you. But when they're little, they side with mom. Grandma's not good. Grandma doesn't care about us. Grandma doesn't care about my health. That's what happens when they're really little. I think about that. When you were a kid, if you overheard your mom talk about someone in a particular way, that became your opinion about that person. Later, you were able to make a better judgment. Sometimes you see this happen with divorced couples, right? Mom talks about dad, now the kid has to pick a side. So always keep it in front of the kid. They're eating the ice cream. Just swallow it. I was like, it's fine. They're gonna eat the ice cream.
Just to address though the challenge that one of the ways we handled this challenge, and we still do this today, is when we drop Max off at family, we send him with his food.
That's what we do. Exactly.
That was kind of something I always bring food when we go.
That solves 90% of that. Is just and they appreciate it because he's already got his meals ready. They don't got to think about it. They just get to play with him and enjoy him. And you can let it. And Katrina would be like, "Hey, at 11 o'clock he eats this. At 1 o'clock he eats this." And and sometimes he doesn't eat all of it. Whatever, but. They have something laid out. There's not an excuse for them to go feed him something else. He's already got his food with him. That solves 90% of that right there. And that takes a little extra effort on our part to prepare and do that, but we cared that much about that. And I think the family starts to get it when they see you putting that effort into it. They're like, okay, they're really trying to, control the way he's eating these foods. Maybe I should help. We had a little bit of the pushback early, but because we consistently spoke to the family about it, because we did the meals like that, they started to get on board. And now I tell you what, you talk to any of them, they're all blown away. They're all, damn, we were wrong about that, because he's got this incredible relationship with sweets and stuff.
And by the way, speak encouragement to people that really, you know the people that really love your kids. Your mom probably really loves your kids, so it's not some,
She adores him.
Right. So with my mom, at first it turned into like, this is the way it is, Mom, respect me, and it just turned into this weird. And then it was like, I love how much you love the kids. I love how much you want them to enjoy these things, and that changed the dynamic around that conversation. But I did what Adam. That's what we do with now. What Adam said is we send them with food. And then it becomes much easier for them to manage.
Yeah, and another way to say that, and how it helped us too, is I asked them to help me. Hey, this is hard for me to be consistent with this. I don't want to give them processed foods. I don't want to give them stuff like that, and it takes a lot of extra effort. So any way you can help me, please help me.
Totally.
Because this, and so framing it like that. Then I have other family members who was like a stern talk. Don't fucking give him any lollipops, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. Like this. So it just depends if we're talking to
There's
grandma.
Gonna be a couple people
That's right. Exactly.
Way,
so if I'm talking to my brother-in-law, that's how I'm talking to him, right?
Yeah.
If it's my mother-in-law, it's like, Mom, can you help me? And so you got to approach everybody a little bit different, but. Those were the things I think that solved. And let me tell you, there was a couple times in there where we had it happen. It wasn't a big deal. If it was long consistency around them whole foods and the way we did stuff like that, I think it was one of the best things we ever did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Good luck.
Yeah. Parents that smoke rarely ever tell their kids to smoke. They almost always tell their kids not to smoke. What does the data show? The kids are far more likely to smoke. Yeah. Parents that yell, parents that, drink, whatever. Your kids, what you do is far more impactful than what you say.
For sure.
And so if
everything.
If you have a relationship with food that is dysfunctional and you don't want your kids to have that relationship, the best thing you could do is work on yourself. It's just a fact. Listen,
one of the hardest things to do in this scenario is to do the things that you can do and not worry about the uncontrollables, right? Yeah. Like the one time grandma does the lollipop or the thing. It's it's already difficult enough to eat whole foods and cook for a family every single night and be consistent with that, and or send your kid with their food already. Like that's work. It takes a lot of work. So you should be mainly focusing on that. And if you crush that and do that consistently, then even if some of the family members don't listen and don't abide and step out of the boundaries of the diet, you're going to be okay.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. And eventually you'll be fine anyways. But if you're inconsistent with that and then they're also doing that, well.
No, it's always inconsistent.
Yeah, then it's very inconsistent. And then really, which one is really affecting them more? The inconsistency you're doing at home or the once in a while that grandma or uncle or does the thing. So, I think the main focus should be on ourselves.
Our next caller is Neely from Texas.
Hi, Neely.
How you doing, Neely?
Hi, guys. I'm like starstruck right now, and but also feel like I'm talking to my friend / probably therapist a little bit. So this is good.
What's going on? What's going on?
How can we help you?
So I'm gonna start like everybody else. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate all of y'all's advice and just information that you put out. It really feels good to know that there are people advocating for health and fitness the correct way, and also from the faith aspect. It's really cool to have that as a part of this. Is something I'm so passionate about. So I do want to say that I apologize in advance. I'm a little bit long-winded, and my question / story here is a bit long, so just cut me off if you need to. But I think y'all heard I am a doctor. I'm an optometrist. I'm 27. I just graduated a year ago. So still kind of new to, doing it all on my own and not being in the school environment. But I am currently weighing in about 170 pounds, switching focuses to the health side. That's typically where I feel comfortable. I am a chronic, extreme overtrainer. This is going on 10 plus years. I've pushed my body to pretty much every limit possible. Never felt like I did enough. All the mottos that y'all say not to use. Like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, no pain, no gain, no days off. That is how I live my life. I didn't leave the gym unless I couldn't walk out or was drenched in sweat. So yeah, basically every time y'all say one of those things, I'm like, ouch, that's me. Obviously, this was a body dysmorphia issue, but the gym was also my safe place. And it's where I went to release stress from all of the schooling. 4 years in optometry school, there was a lot of stress on the school sides of things. So I went to the gym to try to, release some of that. This probably started after my second knee injury in high school. So I tore cartilage off the bone in my left knee, my junior year of high school. I tore my ACL my senior year in high school in my right knee. So probably my identity was a little bit tied up in the athlete thing. I went on to college not pursuing an athletic career. So it's kind of hard to let go, especially considering majority of my family played some sport at a collegiate level. But all of this just developed a very unhealthy relationship with food, my body, a toxic cycle that just kind of has continued throughout all the years. In 2023, about 2 years ago now, I had a third major knee surgery. During one of my extreme workouts, I had an injury. It wasn't anything crazy, but it felt different. Since both my surgeries in high school, I had dealt with pain and kind of told myself I was a wimp anytime I would, be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't work out today. I convinced myself that I needed to keep going. So this felt different. And I was like, I know I need to go see a doctor. So I did. That area where I had that cartilage repaired was completely gone. So I was just bone on bone. They also told me that I had bone spurs in both knees, and they kind of told me that I had like moderate stage arthritis. I had two options. I could just live my life as a normal human and just plan to have a knee replacement at around 35. Or I could undergo this major knee surgery. It was a combination. These are big fancy words, but osteochondral osteograft combined with a distal femoral osteotomy. So basically just shy of a total knee replacement. They thought it would help my pain and kind of prolong having to have the knee replacement. And so far, that has been true. So I did have this surgery, and they pretty much told me that either option, I was really going to have to cut back on the way that I was training, forget running. I ran every day. So all of these things were just a lot to take in. Thankfully, recovery did go as smoothly as possible. And it was during recovery that I found y'all's podcast. And it was really a relief to hear, this may have actually been a major blessing that I am now forced to stop training like an idiot and really cut back. Obviously, I didn't see it that way for a really long time. And that's kind of where I'm still at, struggling with just that mentality of wanting to do more, but trying to listen to my body and take care of it. My training has changed considerably. I'm really just lifting right now and not anything heavy, not near what I was before. So that has just been really difficult to kind of overcome, as well as the food aspect. Again, y'all helped me a lot there. Whereas before, just eating literally as little as I could during a day and always feeling like I was starving, to now, I do prioritize protein. I'm eating full meals, 3 full meals at the very least. I don't track because of my history with issues, but I know I'm around 150 grams of proteins a day. So just to add to all of that, I did recently get blood work done because I was in a period where I felt like I was gaining all of this weight and I was just very unhappy and refused to believe that it was just because I had turned 27 that, my hormones were out of whack or whatever. So my testosterone was low, which is what I went in telling the doctor I was worried about. She didn't offer me any advice surrounding that. She actually didn't even reach out to me after the lab results. I had to go to a different doctor with my results. My progesterone and my DHEA were normal, but they were both also on the lower end. Of course, I was deficient in vitamin D. So all that to say, after I went to the second doctor with my results, she actually recommended me to start a GLP-1. I was not opposed to this as I have used one before. And the way that it changed the mental side of things, which Adam has talked on a lot, that was like the biggest game changer for me, was to like have a quiet mind and not like be so in my head. So I did start that again at the lowest dose. And honestly, after using it for a couple weeks, I felt 10 times better than I did before starting it. Now I've been using that for a couple of months, and my appetite really isn't suppressed. I still am eating about the same. It's just like I feel better. So I'm at this point where I am debating like coming back off of that and seeing what happens. She also recommends starting testosterone, and that was in one of my original questions when I wrote all of this, was like whether or not that is something I pursue. I feel like I hear y'all talk about it a lot with men. I just wasn't super clear on like female hormone replacement therapy with testosterone. However, again, since I wrote this, I did start it, and I've been using it for almost 2 weeks now. So again, I apologize that was long-winded and probably too scatterbrained. I guess my question. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's great. You just gave us great
context. Yeah.
Yeah. So Neely, so let me just quickly address the hormone replacement therapy. I'm typically pro that, but because you're so young, do you have children?
I don't.
Do you plan on having children?
Probably. Okay. And that is something she talked about, and I'm doing a cream because of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So because of your age, typically what we can do when you work with a functional medicine practitioner is we can see the hormones typically respond pretty well on their own. So that would be the direction that I would go, especially considering the context you gave us of overtraining. You're a doctor. I've trained a lot of doctors. I know the mentality that it takes to become a doctor. It's also the mentality that it takes for you to be a hardcore athlete. It's this like I can go and I'm going to go and nothing's going to stop me type of attitude. But the side effect of that is you wear yourself down and you beat yourself up. You have a tolerance for pain. You have a tolerance for stress that's above and beyond most people, but it doesn't come without a cost. So I think a functional medicine practitioner would be much more appropriate because of your age. You're not done having kids. You don't have any yet. And I think you could probably get them balanced out by managing stress, managing gut health, with somebody who's an expert in that. So I think that would be the direction that I would point you if you were my client. Now, let's talk about the workout portion. You did throw a wrench in what I typically would advise. So typically if I get a female who says I may have some body dysmorphia, I would push them towards focusing on performance. The problem with that, with someone like you, is you were an athlete.
Yeah.
And if I push you towards performance, it's not going to help. You're just going to hurt yourself. You're going to go too far in that direction. That's the potential risk with that. So I'm not going to push you towards performance. What I am going to say is there's a few things that you could do. One is, I don't know if you're on social media, but I would get off social media because any subconscious comparison to other people is going to skew your view of yourself. So I would get off social media completely, like literally no Instagram, no nothing. Don't go on it at all. You can listen to our podcast, of course, but just get rid of it completely. And that'll actually start to change your attitude towards yourself. The second thing I would do, and you did mention faith, so I'm going to go there a little bit, is there's a myth that you are, and this is a myth that, by the way, I identify so much with a lot of what you said. I still struggle with this. The myth is that you're in control. The myth is that you decide. But I think you know that that's not true. And so you're going to have to let go a little bit. And what I mean by that is it's going to give you a lot of worldly things, but it's going to come at a terrible cost. Career, workouts, all that stuff, good things, terrible gods. They will tyrannize you if they become an idol. So take a step back. Remember, care for yourself like somebody worth caring for. And the thing you're going to have to focus on, and I hate saying this because it sounds a bit broad, is health. So don't aim for performance because you're so performance oriented. That's going to move you in the wrong direction. Don't aim towards aesthetics because we know that's going to go. Start aiming towards health. And I think a functional medicine practitioner will be the best coach in that regard because they're going to look at a lot of different metrics that take into account stress, inflammation, hormones. They're probably going to recommend that you do things like if I were to give you a program right now, it would probably look like MAPS 15.
Yes.
Just some yoga.
If I were to recommend anything else, it would be yin yoga. If I were to recommend any additional activity, it would be walking, prayer, meditation, because what we're going to try and do is take you out of this identity that has served you in a worldly way. This identity made you a good athlete. It also has gotten you to become a doctor, which is a very difficult thing to do. You have your own practice, it looks like. But that now it's starting to tyrannize you, and maybe it has for a while. So you're going to have to kind of move out of that. So you're going to have to submit. You're going to point up, work with someone on health, and aim towards health. And then what will probably happen, Neely, is you'll start to see hormones balance out. You'll start to feel less pain. When you go get, tested for osteoarthritis, it'll probably start to regress. You're so young and healthy that you'll probably see lots of really, really good improvements. But it's going to be a huge struggle because you have to break away from this relationship that in many ways has served you, but now and by the way, I want to commend you. The awareness that you have right now, I didn't get at 27. I'm starting to get it now at 46. And the awareness is, this is not serving me. That's the hardest step. The rest of it now is just being obedient.
So and I'm glad you went the direction of letting go because it's where my mind went right away. And I want you to train with one of my trainers. And the reason why I want that is not because I don't think you're smart enough to figure it out and we don't have the program that you can follow, but so you can let go and you can outsource it to somebody you trust. And I think that working with one of my coaches will help you do that. So you can just focus on the getting healthy, healing, and kind of outsourcing that, that let them be your guide like that. And because I think one of the hardest parts about where you're currently at is getting in your own way. This is not something that you're going to muscle your way through or grit it and go. Like it's so different than what has served you for so many years, getting to where you're at in your life, both in sports and in business. So I would highly recommend outsourcing that. I would love to have one of my coaches or trainers call you and work with you through this process. But it's going to look a lot different than probably how you've approached things and to know that that's going to be challenging, to know that, doing this a different way is going to be hard. There's going to be many times where you're going to be fighting with yourself. Oh, I should do this, or, I feel great, so I'm going to do this. And having somebody in your ear going, no, let's just stay the course. You're doing great. Focus on these things. This is what I want you to do for this week. I think would be extremely valuable through this process.
And let me just sell this a little bit to you, Neely. At the end of this, what it's going to feel like is good. You're going to feel balanced. Hormones are going to feel good. You're not going to hurt. You're going to have this realization of, wow, I can do way less and get way more. You'll have more time for other things in your life. But it's going to be a bit of a hard journey because it's going to be hard to let go. Because it sounds like it's something you've held on to really tight for a really, really long time. But it's causing problems. And the problems are going to start to get worse. They're going to start to compound. So you can Band-Aid things with hormones at 27, but the signals are going to start to get really loud as you start to get into your 30s and especially in your 40s. Yeah. So this is like a great place to take a different turn for sure.
I feel for you, and something that kind of I went through that was a real big metaphor and something that really kind of took me to that headspace was the first time I did like an ice cold plunge and realized, bearing down and really tightening up and getting through it does not work. Letting go and breathing your way through that was the only way through. And so that kind of stuck with me just as like a physical and a mental image that I use to try to reframe everything. Like this is what's going to be the path. This is what I have to focus on. And it's hard because it's completely opposite of your operating system. So, the like Adam said, I think a coach will really help to kind of bring that out.
Yeah, and I had a feeling that the conversation would go this way, which I almost just needed to hear. But I mean, it is. Y'all have probably all experienced this, and I've heard other callers like say it too, like how hard it is to let go of that, and the fact that I've allowed it to be the stress release, but then also like it is an idol, and it is like the thing that I have the hardest time like letting go of. I definitely think like accountability would be good. I assumed y'all would tell me to just do match 15 and like get over it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with those things. It's just like really hard to like, when I feel like it's the thing that makes my day, makes me a better person. So it's like, I struggle with, well, I'm going to be in a bad mood if I don't go. So like, I'm still gonna go.
Totally. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you feel. Exercise is good. Diet is good. It's not God. It's not the ultimate good, but it is good. So finding where that is hard. So yeah, and by the way, when you break the chains of an idol, at first you do get angry. It's almost like withdrawal, like, oh, my thing, the thing that I use. I'm struggling with this right now. I'm trying to work through this right now myself. Does this look like not working out? That doesn't sound like a good idea. Like, I thought exercise is good. And just like you, man, I feel better when I do it. So how do I find that balance? So that's why it's a hard needle to thread. We're not talking about cocaine. I could be like, hey, stop using cocaine. Yeah. It's not serving you in any way. We're talking about exercise. Most people don't even exercise. So I totally get it.
And as far as like, I mentioned I still am microdosing the GLP-1. Is that something you think I should probably try to like get off of? I mean, I do genuinely think that it has made me feel better, but I can also admit that on the other side of things, I know what it's doing for me, image wise, and
eventually, but it's okay right now. It's not if you're like, say you get started with one of the coaches, that's not the first thing they're going to say. No, let's get rid of your GLP-1. That's not even. That's if you feel it's helping you, it's also not killing the appetite. So I know you can get the food that I need you to get. I'm not even worrying about that right now.
It's a tool.
We'll cross that bridge later.
Yeah, microdosing GLP-1s seem to reduce inflammation in the brain. So you're not getting this huge appetite suppression, you're saying, but you probably feel better because there was some chronic inflammation that you're dealing with. So it's probably good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not like the top 10 things that a good coach would have you work on right now. It's not even in that yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell you what, I really want to commend you for calling in.
Yep.
And the awareness at 27 years old is remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And I 100% identify with your struggles. I know what it's like. The other end of this is probably going to be amazing. So
you're going to enjoy Sal's series that he's about to start right now.
I'm going to start a series on this, and it's going to suck, and I know it is.
It's actually going to be centered. It's going to be centered around what we're talking about right now. So you're going to enjoy it. Yeah, you're going to enjoy that series.
Yeah, you get to see me sweat and squirm on the other end of this conversation. I get to give myself advice, which I hate.
Yeah.
Well, I've really appreciated all of y'all's transparency, but especially around that. That is something that I listened to that episode like immediately when it came out. I was like, yeah, I need to hear this. Yeah. So it's obviously good to know other people. Like, it's good to hear, which is why this email has sat in my drafts for so long, because I was like, oh, they hear this all the time. But then also, it is encouraging when I hear someone else say similar things to me, like knowing.
Neely, this is so common.
Yes.
You have no, and part of, I want to repeat something that Sal said earlier. And this is the reason why I'm willing to say 80%, maybe more, of all the fitness influencers that you follow struggle with this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is what has made them these influencers, is they're obsessed with it. They have made it their idol. They grit through it. And you have no idea all the things that they're struggling with internally and all the other shit in their life that's out of balance. But we, admire them and work towards this thing, but they're suffering that. And they're not going to admit it and tell you. Because they're selling health and fitness to you, and they've used their physiques and their bodies and their success with that as a way to sell whatever it is they're selling. Very few are going to admit it, but let me tell you, way more people suffer from this than you realize.
It's actually rare to find a fitness fanatic that doesn't struggle with this. It's actually very rare.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Neely, I'm gonna have one of our coaches reach out to you and schedule a call, and then hopefully we'll be hearing back from you too. No matter what, I'd like to, regardless if you go with one of our coaches,
We got this.
I'd like to hear back from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate that and y'all's time and everything y'all do.
All right,
you.
all right,
Thank you.
Neely.
Poor
It's,
girl.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's tough.
But like you said, 27 years old, good for you to be able to see that early.
Would I have, number one, would I have said any of that at 27? No. Would I have said it on a podcast? Hell no. I was all in, and it was, this is me, and this is what I do, and this is how I get what I want, and whatever, and I got control, and I can make it happen. That was me for my whole life. But it causes some serious problems, and it's much more common. And it's so common in our space. It's not even funny. Like I said, I can't even think. To be honest with you, I can't even think of a fitness
I think
person.
80 is a conservative number.
You're being nice.
Yeah, I think 80 is conservative number.
Totally.
On that. And
But here's the other one. By the way, this looks different for different people. I mean, to become a doctor or to get into a very challenging field, you adopt a persona and an identity that gets you through it.
it served her so
And then
long.
how do you get out of that?
Because it served you for so long. That's why I really hope that she takes our advice with the coach,
Right.
because I mean, and you know.
You're right.
You know.
Outsourcing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll do what
When
you say.
you said let go, that I was already on that place. It's like, you just let go of this. Like, you probably have the dispensable income to do this. This is something you should invest in, and watch her be better at her craft, better at all the other things in life.
Because
if
she can
does
let
it.
go, because she's
Yeah.
probably got a grip on all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah,
to that.
first off, we got to say that, okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by one digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
Add 10%.
exactly. You go up about